And PAX and Gemini, the Gemini dollar,
Yes.
they were given licenses in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering about the different requirements there may be for regulations between Gemini dollar and true US dollar.
Yes. So I do want to comment. I'm not a legal expert, but I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can.
Right.
PAX and GUSD, so Gemini and Paxos, both of the issuing companies of their stablecoins, so Gemini Trust Company LLC and then PAX Trust Company, they are both registered trust companies in New York. And so effectively, the issuer of those tokens are regulated under NYFDS, the New York Financial Department Services, something. So it's not. So what the New York legislators have done is effectively just like come out and made a statement saying that these companies, are allowed to do this basically. And in our case specifically, we work with Nevada-based trust companies. And I think a little bit of the difference is that Gemini's and Paxos's funds for their stablecoins respectively are held with their own trust companies, whereas in Nevada we work with unaffiliated trust companies. So the ones that we work with we don't own or have any sort of stake in, and they are regulated as well under the Nevada something or the Nevada equivalent of the New York legislator.
Right.
And I think the only explicit difference is that the Nevada regulators have not come out and made an explicit statement saying that they condone stablecoins or any of that. But we're sort of having similar conversations about getting a statement like that.
Right. And
so effectively the same thing, just one has made a statement, one has not.
Yeah. Okay. From an investor's perspective, when they're thinking about stablecoins, they're cashing into stablecoins or investing in stablecoins, what things should they consider when they're actually selecting a stablecoin? Or do they have any criteria that you would recommend? Or
yeah, so I mean at the very basic level, you want a stablecoin that is redeemable for fiat. And so when you look at USDT, Tether, it's a very difficult process and often very opaque around how you actually redeem USDT. There are very sophisticated traders that have no idea how to do it. Not to mention that sometimes the redemption process can be anywhere from 7 days to 14 days to, I've heard some horror stories of possibly being longer than that. So the very basic thing is that you want to be redeemable, and you want to make sure that the stable coin is being transparent around that they are being fully collateralized and they have all of their reserves. Beyond that, though, if you are a trader thinking about this, or an investor even looking for somewhere safe to keep your funds, I think what you really want to look for is the stable coin that has the most liquidity and is traded in the most places. So this way, when you want to move in and out of a position quickly, you have as many options as can possibly be available.
Right.
And I am proud to say that TUSD has the most exchange listings, and we're supported by the most OTC desks at the moment.
Right. Great. And there'll be a lot of faith from the users in terms of the collateral and the proof of the collateral there too. Yeah. Okay. And there's been some recent reports saying that there's actually more than 100 stablecoins out there now.
Wow.
And it seems to be increasing.
Yeah.
And do you think that there are more than the market needs, or what is there actually a healthy number for the market in terms of the number of stablecoins?
It's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. I think that this is sort of a little bit more of my personal opinion than, say, the company opinion, but in my belief, I do believe that there will be a winner takes all or sort of a winner takes most dynamic with stablecoins, especially sort of currency by currency. So I think it's definitely possible for a tokenized USD and a tokenized euro and a tokenized yen and a tokenized gold to exist simultaneously. I think each of those have very local demands with people that would be interested in them.
Yeah.
I don't think that in 1 year or especially 5 years from now that we will have 4 to 5 tokenized USDs or 4 to 5 tokenized euros. I think that it will solidify down to 1 or maybe 2. And mostly the reason for that is if you're an exchange and you have 5 stablecoin markets, your liquidity is going to be spread across those 5 markets. And so I think that we'll start to see exchanges really doubling down on the stablecoins that seem to be winning. And when we see that, we'll see very liquid markets for 1 or maybe 2 stablecoins.
Right. So in terms of the winning stablecoin, how would a stablecoin survive long term, or be the one that's chosen?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Was there?
Yeah, that's all.
Being the one that's chosen is difficult to say. Again, we're having a lot of these conversations with exchanges now, and it's interesting to get their ideas of how they're thinking about this. But I don't want to share too much on that. What was the first part of that question? Sorry.
Basically, you're talking about having one stablecoin to represent each currency and to be a winning stablecoin.
Yeah.
What does it take in terms of the long-term picture?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at the story of Tether had sort of a very clean run for its first couple of years, and then it was really, I believe, around maybe fall of 2017 where a lot of the speculation and rumors started flying around. Right. And I don't think that they did a great job handling that. I think that they could have addressed it up front. I think if they'd been more transparent about what had happened, that it might not be the case. Tether is where it is now. Right. And so I think part of it is just always maintaining trust with your users. At the end of the day, TUSD is as big as it is because people have been kind enough, and I think we've earned enough trust with our traders that they've been willing to put $175 million worth of funds to collateralize the coin. And so I think that the biggest thing is just to continue to have trusting and open relationships with our partners, and also to really man some of the sort of distribution channels. And so if we're supported by all of the OTC desks and the large traders, and we start opening up TUSD denominated trading pairs, I think that it will get to a point where it's tougher for other coins to compete with that. Right.
There's an issue that you've been talking about quite a bit is trust.
Yes.
And actually, in terms of trust, money laundering is an issue of concern, and I'm wondering about in the US, what is the watchdog doing to regulate money laundering for stablecoins in particular?
I don't have a great answer to that. I can tell you that what we're doing though to prevent it. Yeah. For us at least, we have a strict KYC and AML process. Yeah. So know your customer, anti-money laundering, yeah, for anyone that wants to come into our app. And so when you want to purchase TUSD with fiat or redeem TUSD for fiat, you need to go through this process that is run by our fiduciary partner. And so we do that. We work with the government filing suspicious activity reports if anything we see any suspicious activity with people going through the app. And then we're also starting to work with some third-party vendors around just like sort of doing some on-chain token watching and monitoring stuff.
Right. I've noticed you've got on the website you've got a lot of different companies collaborating with you on
yes,
legal things and lots of different things.
Yes, yeah, you have to. You have to. I mean, it's been funny that I think now is a better time than ever to be a securities lawyer in the United States, because yes, there are so many questions for companies operating in this realm and ecosystem that if you're an expert on securities law, it's a great time to be a lawyer.
Got a lot of work to do
yeah,
for them,
yeah.
Keeping them busy. Well, that's all my questions. Thank you so much, Ryan, for joining us at Crypto News Hub. And
it's been my pleasure.
Yeah.